In botany oriented only I am going to explain. In case of botany, 11th standard and 12th standard. 11th and 12th standard. In 11th standards, what are the lessons are given, and 12th standard, what are the lessons are given. First we need to discuss about that one and where we have to focus more. Then only we start the one introduction topic also. In case of 11th standard, first lesson is the living world. Second lesson, bioclassification, means biological classification. And third lesson, plant kingdom. In 11th standard, first chapter living world, second biological classification, third plant kingdom. Then morphology of flowering plants, simply written morphology. And the fifth one is the anatomy. It is the most important lesson, morphology and anatomy, means histology and anatomy of flowering plants. Next, cell, means unit of life. Then cell cycle and cell division. Cell unit of life, then cell cycle and cell division. And next one, the 11th standard only I am explaining. 8th one, physiology. In case of physiology, 5 lessons we have. The most important, transport in plants. Transport in plants. Second one is the mineral nutrition. Third lesson, photosynthesis. Fourth, respiration. Last lesson, plant growth and development. These 5 lessons are comes under the physiology. So these are the topics which related to first year, means 11th standard. And come to the 12th standard point of view. Okay, okay.
So మీరు ఏం చేయాలంటే కొంచెం పెద్ద చేయండి.
ఓకే.
రబ్ చేసేటప్పుడు చేత్తో చేయొచ్చు. ఒకసారి నేను చూపించిన ఇట్లా.
ఓకే.
సో కొద్దిగా బోర్డ్స్ పిల్లలు చూస్తున్నారు కదా. ఓకే. చెప్పలేదంట చాటింగ్లో చెప్తున్నా.
టాపిక్ చెప్పేటప్పుడు పెద్దదికి వెళ్ళాలి.
కొంచెం ఇదే ఎప్పుడైనా రాస్తూ ఉన్నది కొద్దిగా.
ఓకే, ఓకే సార్.
నెక్స్ట్ పేజ్కి వెళ్ళడం ఐడియా ఉందా?
తెలుసు.
ప్లస్ నొక్కేస్తే అక్కడ.
రైట్. Yeah, thank you. Come to the 12th standard lessons point of view. In case of 12th standard, first lesson, reproduction in organisms. Second lesson, the most important lesson, sexual reproduction in flowering plants. First lesson, reproduction in organisms. Second one, sexual reproduction in flowering plants. third, genetics, principles of inheritance and variations, and fourth, molecular biology means molecular basis of inheritance. Molecular basis of inheritance. Next, fifth, strategies for enhancement in food production. Microbes in human welfare. Microbes in human welfare. Next, biotechnology. So these are the topics are present in case of 12th standard: reproduction in organisms, sexual reproduction in flowering plant, genetics, molecular biology means molecular basis of inheritance, strategies for enhancement in food production, microbes in human welfare, biotechnology. In biotechnology we have the two lessons: principles and process of rDNA technology and applications of biotechnology. Principles and process of biotechnology and applications of biotechnology. We have the two lessons in case of unit of biotechnology. So these are the 11th standard, these are the 12th standard. In 11th standard, ecology is also there. So ecology is also there. In case of these are the 11th standard and these are the 12th standard lesson. But where we have to focus more to crack the Neet in case of botany. The most important is these 5 lessons, means physiology. 5 lessons are most important. Expected 9 to 10 questions from physiology, more or less 1 plus or minus 9 to 10 questions comes from physiology unit. After the physiology, concentrate on ecology, 7 to 8 questions expected. 7 to 8 questions from ecology. The 7 to 8 question comes from NCERT only. That's why please trick on to NCERT textbook only for physiology as well as ecology. Total 7 to 8 questions, here 9 to 10 questions. The complete question comes from NCERT only. And come to the morphology and anatomy. After this important chapter, morphology and anatomy. From morphology 2 questions expected, anatomy 2 questions we expecting. And this morphology and anatomy required running notes plus NCERT textbook. For the preparation of morphology and anatomy, running notes and NCERT textbook is sufficient. But physiology, ecology is completely question comes from NCERT. Please stick on to NCERT only. And for morphology and anatomy, some notes as well as NCERT textbook is required. And come to this 12th standard purpose, the most important lesson, sexual reproduction of flowering plant. This lesson is connected with many lessons. This lesson is connected with morphology. This lesson is connected with, and it is connected with plant growth and development. This lesson is connected with other topics also. So sexual reproduction of flowering plant is one of the important lesson in 12th standard. Expected 3 to 4 questions. Expected 3 to 4 questions from sexual reproduction in flowering plant. And for this lesson also required notes plus NCERT textbook. Why we are mentioning the notes? Because of the notes more helpful to get the correct answer. That's why sexual reproduction of flowering plants require notes plus NCERT textbook. And molecular basis of inheritance is the next important chapter in 12th standard. Expected same 3 questions from molecular basis of inheritance. And finally biotechnology. We have the 2 lesson, principles and process of biotechnology, then applications of biotechnology. And this is the unit is also very important. Then after strategies and microbes. From these 2 lessons you can expect 2 to 3 questions. And stick on to NCERT for strategies and microbes in human welfare. For these 2 lessons, you have to prepare NCERT line to line. That is sufficient. Beyond the NCERT some lesson, but majority of the question comes from NCERT textbook only. That's why according to my knowledge, I am suggesting all botany student, please stick on to NCERT to crack the 2022 Neet exam. Hope each and everyone got one idea about the what are the topic where we have to focus. In first year you have to focus more on physiology and ecology. And in second year you have to focus sexual reproduction, genetics, molecular basis and biotechnology. These are the topics are more and more important to get better result. Today I am going to explaining one small topic and one of the important chapter in 12th standard. It is basic to other lessons also, that is sexual reproduction of flowering plant. So first, sexual reproduction of flowering plant. It is the most and most important lesson, sexual reproduction in flowering plants. Expected 3 to 4 questions from here only. That's why it is the one of the important chapter. Sexual reproduction in flowering plants. Flowering plants, 2 types, gymnosperms and angiosperms. Gymnosperms and angiosperm both consider as the flowering plants. But this lesson belongs to, this lesson we are explaining with angiosperms only. Flowering plant in Greek language, which is also called as phanerogams also. Sexual reproduction of flowering plant. Flowering plants 2 types, gymnosperms and angiosperm, but this lesson we are explaining with angiosperms only. Here gymnosperms are considered as false flowering plants. Gymnosperms are called as false flowering plant. Angiosperms are considered as the true flowering plants. Gymnosperms are considered as the false flowering plant, whereas angiosperms are considered as the true flowering plants. Sir, why? Why gymnosperms are called as false? Why angiosperms are called as true? See, come to the gymnosperm. Gymnosperm produces cones. Gymnosperms produces what? Cones. Cones are also called as strobili. During the reproductive phase, during the reproductive phase, gymnosperm produce the cones or strobili, whereas angiosperms directly it produce the flowers. Instead of cones or strobili, angiosperm directly produce the flowers. That's why angiosperms are considered as the true flowering plant. Gymnosperms are considered as the false flowering plant. During the reproductive phase, gymnosperm produce the cones or strobili. Angiosperm directly produce the flower. So angiosperm produce the flowers directly. That's why angiosperms are considered as the true flowering plant. But gymnosperm produce the cones or strobili instead of flower. That's why gymnosperms are considered as the false flowering plant. But the cones of gymnosperms are equals to the flowers of angiosperm. Please keep in your mind. Cones of gymnosperms are equals to the flowers of angiosperm. But true flowers produced by angiosperm, that's why this lesson we are explaining with angiosperms only, not with gymnosperm. Hope everyone got it. And see, listen, for example, take one plant. Every plant life starts with birth, correct? Every plant life starts with birth. Every living organism life starts with birth. After the birth, day by day, they participate in growth. After the birth, then it takes place in growth. After the growth, they participate in reproduction. After the reproduction, that plant will get old age. Finally, that plant undergoes a death. There are 5 phases are present in the life cycle of plant. First, plant life starts with birth, then growth, then reproduction, then old age, finally death. So what is our lesson name? Sexual reproduction of flowering plant. This lesson comes from here, reproduction only. Birth comes under the birth phase. Birth comes under the birth phase. Growth comes under the juvenile phase. Growth comes under the juvenile phase. Reproduction comes under the reproductive phase. Reproduction comes under the reproductive phase. Old age comes under the senescence phase. Old age comes under the senescence phase, and death comes under the death phase. Total 5 phases are present in the life cycle of plant: birth phase, juvenile phase, reproductive phase, senescence phase, and death phase. During the birth phase, birth occurred. During the juvenile phase, growth phenomenon takes place, very, very important. During the reproductive phase, the reproduction will take place. Senescence phase, old age. What is senescence? Aging. Increase the age of plant organ. Either if you can take the root, increase the age of root is called as senescent. Increase the age of stem, increase the age of leaf. Increase the age means aging phenomenon is called as senescent. That means old age is comes under the senescence phase. Finally death comes under the death phase. So what is our lesson name? Sexual reproduction in flowering plant. This lesson comes under reproductive phase only. Before the reproductive phase, after the reproductive phase, we are not explaining here. This complete lesson we are explaining with another reproductive phase only. This lesson is comes under the reproductive phase only. In reproductive phase, what is the phenomenon takes place? Reproduction phenomenon takes place. See, for example, take one angiospermic plant. See, take one angiosperm plant. In the life cycle of angiosperm plant, there are two phases are present. First phase is the vegetative phase. There are mainly two phases are present in the life cycle of angiosperm. First one is the vegetative phase. Second phase is the reproductive phase. There are two phases are present in the life cycle of angiosperm plant. First one is the vegetative phase. Second one is the reproductive phase. For example, take one seed nun. See, imagine, take one small seed, it is sown inside the soil. This is the seed we sown inside the soil. When favorable conditions are present, the seed germinate to produce the one small plant, correct? When favorable environmental conditions are present, the seeds germinate to produce the one small plant. The small plant is called as what? The small plant is called as seedling. The small plant is called as what? Seedling or plantlet. When favorable conditions are present, the seeds germinate to produce the one small plant. It is called as seedling. Day by day, what happened? The seedling shows a growth. Day by day, the seedling shows what? Growth. That growth comes under the vegetative phase. Every day plant shows growth. You know, generally plant shows growth up to death because of the presence of meristematic tissues. That meristematic tissues we will explain in case of anatomy, not now, histology and anatomy. Because of meristematic tissues, generally plant shows growth up to death. Like that, the seedling every day shows some growth. That growth comes under the vegetative phase. Means during the vegetative phase, what is the phenomenon takes place? Growth phenomenon takes place in plant. Once vegetative phase is completed, then that plant entered into second phase, that is the reproductive phase. When this plant entered in reproductive phase, what happened? This plant immediately produces what? Flowers, correct? When plant enter into reproductive phase, that plant produce the what? Flowers. That plant produce the what? Flowers. Means during the reproductive phase, that plant produce the what? Flowers. During the vegetative phase, growth only takes place. But during the reproductive phase, that plant produce the what? Flowers. Flowers produced during the reproductive phase. That's why flower is considered as the reproductive organ. Flowers are produced during the reproductive phase. flowers are produced during the reproductive phase. That's why flowers are considered as the reproductive organs of angiospermic plant. During the vegetative phase, growth phenomenon takes place. During the reproductive phase, flowers produced by angiospermic plant. See, flowers are considered as the reproductive organ. Why? Because it is produced during the reproductive phase. And see, listen, in case of angiosperm, one hypothetical hormone is responsible to produce the flowers. What is that hypothetical hormone? Florigen. Very important. Florigen is the hypothetical phytohormone is responsible to produce the flowers during the reproductive phase. Florigen is the phytohormone. Phytohormone means hormone produced by plant. Phyto means plant. Hormone means hormone. The hormone which is produced by the plant is called as phytohormone. Florigen is the hypothetical phytohormone. Hypothetical. Why we are using the term hypothetical? Up to date, it is not derived from the plant or not isolated plant. It is not derived. It is not isolated. Just we are expecting. Florigen is the hypothetical hormone which is responsible to produce the flower during the reproductive phase. Why we are mentioning the term hypothetical? Because of this hormone up to now it is not isolated or not derived from the plant. Just we are expecting this is the hormone responsible to produce the flowers during the reproductive phase. Clear? And see, listen, generally during the reproductive phase, angiospermic plant produce the what? Flowers. So generally during the reproductive phase, that angiospermic plant produce the flowers, correct? Generally flowers are considered as the modified shoot. Very important. Shoot get modified to form the flower. In morphology we will explain, not now. So here what I am going to say, flowers are considered as the modified shoot. Shoot get modified. Shoot get modified to form another one beautiful flower. And see, listen, generally every flower, for example, this is the flower. Every flower consists of stalk. The stalk of flower is called as pedicel. The stalk of flower is called as what? Pedicel. The swollen tip of pedicel, the swollen tip of pedicel is called as thalamus, which is also called as receptacle also. Every flower consists of, not every flower, majority of the flower consists of stalk. Means the stalk of flower is called as what? Pedicel. The tip of the pedicel present in swollen condition, the swollen tip is called as thalamus, which is also called as what? Receptacle also. Okay? And see, in the structure of flower, this is the outer whorl. For example, imagine this is the outer whorl of flower. Outer whorl of flower occupied by the sepals. Outer whorl of flower consists of what? Sepal. From outer to second, petals are present. Imagine these are the petal. Here I am using different color to differentiate the parts. Outer rule sepal. Outer to second, which one is present? Petals present. And outer to third, see, from outer to what? Third, stamens are present, see. From outer to third, stamens are present. Then finally, outer to fourth are center. Outer to fourth are center, this is the gynoecium is present. This is the gynoecium. So imagine one flower. I am not giving the complete flower, but one by one I am explaining. The stalk of flower is called as pedicel. Swollen tip of pedicel is called as thalamus or receptacle. In the structure of flower, outer rule occupied by the sepal, outer to second petal, outer to third stamen, outer to fourth, 1, 2, 3, 4. Outer to fourth are center. Which one is present? Gynoecium is present. Not present like one sepal, one petal, one stamen is not present. For example, if you can take one flower, either 3 sepal, 4 sepal, 5 sepal, 5 petal, 4 petal, 3 petal, 5 stamen, 4 stamen, 3 stamen, 6 stamen, many stamens are there. Not present like this. For your understanding, I am taking only one and one. In the given flower, all sepals are called as, in the given flower, all sepals are called as, all sepal means a group of sepals is called as calyx. In morphology, we will explain. In the given flower, for example, I given one flower, in that 3 sepals present, or 4 sepals are present, or 5 sepal. If 3, 4 or 5, that all sepals are collectively called as calyx. And in the given flower, all petals means group of petals is called as what? Corolla. Group of sepals called as calyx. Group of petals is called as corolla. Like that, group of stamens means all stamens in the given flower is called as what? Androecium. Group of stamens is called as androecium. And finally, which one is present? I am taking the gynoecium as it is. That gynoecium I am taking as it is. Group of stamens is called as what? Group of stamens is called as, one second. So group of sepals is called as what? Calyx. And group of petals is called as what? Corolla. And group of stamens is called as what? Androecium. And final part is the gynoecium. Here 3 parts are present: stigma, style and ovary. Okay. So ikkada rastunnanu. So gynoecium consists of 3 parts: stigma, style, ovary. Present like this. See, this is the gynoecium. So this is the part is called as stigma. This narrow tube-like structure, style. This swollen part is called as ovary. Stigma, style, ovary, 3 parts collectively called as gynoecium. And see, listen, this calyx and corolla both consider as the non-essential organs. Non-essential organs of angiospermic flower. Calyx and corolla means sepals and petals both collectively called as non-essential organs of flower. Whereas androecium and gynoecium both collectively called as essential organs of flower. Calyx and corolla non-essential organs of flower, whereas androecium and gynoecium both collectively called as essential organs of flowers. Or why? Why calyx and corolla non-essential? Why androecium, gynoecium is called as essential? Simple reason. This calyx and corolla non-essential organ because they not directly involved. They not directly involved in sexual reproduction. Which one? Calyx and corolla not directly involved in sexual reproduction. That's why calyx and corolla considered as the non-essential organ, whereas androecium, gynoecium essential organ because they are directly involved. They are directly involved in sexual reproduction in flower or angiospermic plant. Calyx and corolla non-essential organ because of they are not directly involved in sexual reproduction, whereas androecium and gynoecium both consider as the essential organ because of they are directly involved in the sexual reproduction of angiospermic plant. This lesson we are in this lesson we are going to discuss with androecium and gynoecium only. Here we are not explaining calyx and corolla, no need also. What is our lesson name? Sexual reproduction of flowering plant. In that sexual reproduction only which one is involved? Androecium and gynoecium. That's why only these are the topics we are going to discuss. Other calyx and corolla is no need. That one we will discuss very deeply in morphology of flowering plant, not now. Clear? And see, listen, first one starts with androecium. First starts with what? Androecium. One second. See, here starts with androecium. Complete androecium we are explaining from top to bottom. What is androecium? Just now I said. What is androecium? Group of stamens. Correct? A group of stamens is called as androecium. Group of stamens in is called as androecium. Means in the given flower, the total stamen present in the given flower. The total stamen present in the given flower, the total stamens or group of stamens is collectively called as androecium, and this androecium is considered as the male reproductive part. Androecium is considered as the male reproductive part in flower. Androecium is considered as the male reproductive part of flower. Why androecium? Why stamens are considered as the male reproductive part? Reason is compulsory. This androecium finally produce the male gamete. Androecium means it consists of what? Stamen. Stamens are androecium. Finally it produce the what? Male gamete. That's why only androecium is considered as the male reproductive part. Group of stamens is called as androecium. That androecium are stamens. Finally it produce the what? Male gamete. How we will explain now? That's why only androecium is considered as the male reproductive part in flower. So androecium consists of stamen. First starts with the stamens only. First this topic we starts with the stamens only. For example, see, here I am taking two types of stamen. Imagine this is one type of stamen and this is the another type of stamen. Two types of stamens we are taking. In every stamen, imagine this is one stamen, I am writing here, and this is also stamen. Two types of stamens we are taking. In the structure of stamen, there are two parts are present. See, this lower stalk is called as filament. The lower stalk of stamen is called as filament. This upper swollen part, this one, this upper swollen part is called as anther. There are two parts are present in every stamen structure. This lower stalk is called as filament. The upper swollen part is called as anther. And come to here, here also same. This lower stalk is called as filament, and this swollen round structure is called as anther. Clear? See, this is the anther. Every anther is surrounded by anther wall. See, this is the anther wall. We will discuss very deeply also. Every anther surrounded by anther wall, here and here. Every anther is surrounded by anther wall. And come to here, in this stamen, here anther consists of two lobes. This is one lobe, this is one lobe. In the first type of stamen, anther, this is the anther, it consists of two lobes. This is one lobe, this is one lobe. This is one theca and this is one theca. Because of two lobes, because of two thecas, this stamens is called as dithecous stamens. Because of two lobes or two thecas in the anther, because of the presence of two lobes or two thecas in anther, these stamens are called as dithecous stamen. Clear? And see, but here in the second type of stamen, anther consists of only one theca or one lap. That's why this stamen is called as monothecous stamens. This type of stamens are called as monothecous stamen, which is also called as unithecous stamens also. In some textbook, in some examination paper, unithecous is also mentioned. Mono, uni, both are one. Here anther consists of two lobes or two thecas, that's why the stamens is called as dithecous. Here anther consists of only one lobe or one theca, that's why only it is called as, this type of stamens are called as monothecous stamen or unithecous stamen also. And see, these monothecous stamens are present in, best example, Malvaceae family. Malvaceae family members consist of monothecous stamen. The best example of Malvaceae family plant, that is China rose, hibiscus. Hibiscus. Monothecous stamen or unithecous stamens are reported in one of the angiospermic family, that is Malvaceae. The best example of Malvaceae family member, that is the China rose. Scientific name of China rose is Hibiscus rosa sinensis, simply hibiscus. And Datura is also one of the example, please write down. Datura is also example of monothecous stamens also. But the best example and repeated question, China rose hibiscus only. Beside that, one more example is also, that is the Datura. Only Malvaceae family, only monothecous, except here remaining all plant produces what? Dithecous. That's why dithecous stamen is the most common type. Common type of stamen, dithecous or monothecous? Dithecous only. In majority of the angiosperm, dithecous is reported. That's why only dithecous is considered as the most common type of stamen. Okay? And see very one important point. Listen carefully. So every lobe consists of two spherical bodies. This is one lobe consists of two spherical body, and this is the lobe consists of two spherical body. But here only one lobe is present. That's why two spherical bodies. Every lobe consists of two spherical bodies. Here this is one lobe, two spherical body. Here one lobe, two spherical body. Here two lobes, that's why four spherical bodies. But here only one lobe, that's why only two spherical bodies are present. These spherical bodies is called as what? Microsporangia. These spherical bodies are called as what? The spherical bodies is called as microsporangia. Very important. These microsporangias is also called as, alternative name is very important, pollen sac. Microsporangia is also called as pollen sac also. Total how many microsporangias are present in the dithecous? 4. How many microsporangias are present in monothecous? 2. So in dithecous, this is the dithecous stamen, 4 microsporangias are present. That condition is called as tetrasporangiate. In dithecous stamen, 4 microsporangia. See, 1, 2, 3, 4. Total 4 microsporangias are present. That's why that condition is called as tetrasporangiate. But in monothecous stamen, only 2 microsporangias are present. That condition is called as bisporangiate. Tetrasporangiate or dithecous stamen is the most common. Bisporangiate and monothecous stamen is the rare type of stamens. And listen, every anther surrounded by what? Every anther is surrounded by what? Anther wall. See, this is the anther. This anther is surrounded by the what? Anther wall. See, when you observe, listen carefully. When you observe anther wall externally, it looks like only one layer. But when anther wall is observed under the microscope, actually it is made up of how many layers? 4 layers. When you observe the anther wall externally with naked eye, it looks like only one layer. But actually it is made up of what? When you observe under the microscope. When you observe under the microscope, actually it is made up of how many layers? 4 layers. One by one we will discuss. So after this stamen, we are taking the next topic, structure of anther wall. Then our topic is the structure of anther wall. So generally anther wall is made up of 4 layers. When you observe the anther wall externally, actually it looks like only one layer. But take one transverse section, observe under the microscope, actually it is made up of how many layers? 4 layers. That 4 layers include, first one is the epidermis, very important. 4 layers from outer to inner I am explaining. First one is epidermis. Second one is the endothecium. Third one is middle layers. And fourth one is the tapetum. From outer to inner 4 layer, epidermis, endothecium, middle layers, tapetum. Inner to outer, tapetum, middle layers, endothelium and epidermis. Centripetal, epidermis, endothelium, middle layers, tapetum. Centrifugal, tapetum, middle layer, endothelium and epidermis. Outer to inner are centripetal. Inner to outer are centrifugal. Inner to outer, tapetum, middle layer, endothelium and epidermis. Outer to inner, epidermis, endothelium, middle layers and tapetum. End of the topic, again we will explain. Okay. So actually anther wall is made up of how many? 4 layers. First one is the epidermis, endothelium, middle layers and tapetum. These outer 3 layers, see, epidermis, endothelium and middle layer, they all are participates in protection. This is the very important point. The main function, alternative functions are also there, but the main function of epidermis, endothelium, middle layer participates in the protection only. See, listen, it is a little bit important topic also. See, listen carefully. So in the structure of anther wall, first one is the epidermis. See, this is the epidermis, I am writing here. In the structure of anther wall, the outermost layer is called as epidermis. In the transverse section, the outermost layer, I am writing here. In the transverse section of anther wall, the outermost layer is called as epidermis. See, this epidermis only one layered thickness. That's why epidermis is the single layer. Epidermis is the outermost layer. It is only one layer thickening. That's why only single layer. And see, these are the epidermal cells. These are the epidermal cells. The cells which are present in the epidermis. The cells which are present in epidermis, that cells are called as epidermal cells. See, this epidermal cell consists of barrel shape or rectangular shape. Epidermis consists of what? This is the epidermis. These are the epidermal cells. These epidermal cells consist of barrel shaped or rectangular shaped cell, and these cells arranged very close to each other. These cells arranged very close to each other. These two cells arranged very close. These are the too close to. So these epidermal cells, all epidermal cells are arranged compactly. That's why in epidermis, which one is absent? Intercellular spaces are absent. What is intercellular space? The space which is present between two cells. Imagine this is one cell, this is the another cell. Between two cells, whatever space is there, that space is called as what? Intercellular space. But this intercellular space is absent. Why intercellular spaces are absent? Because of the cells arranged very close to each other. This is the epidermal cell arranged very close to this one. But that's why between these two cells there is no space. That's why in epidermis intercellular spaces are absent. Clear? And listen, some specialized region. For your understanding, I am taking the dots also. See, pink color dots. Some specialized regions are present in the epidermis. The specialized region is called as stomium. Very important. The specialized regions which are present, The specialized regions which are present in the epidermis, the specialized region is called as stomium. The walls of stomium, see, the cells which are present in the stomium region, listen, the epidermal cells which are present in the stomium region, that cells consist of thin cell wall compared with other cells. The epidermal cells which are present in the stomium region, that epidermal cell consists of thin cell wall compared with another cell. One second. Please wait, all of you. Sir, call to sir. Sorry for the inconvenience. Please wait 1 minute. Yeah, thank you. So the specialized regions which are present in the epidermis is called as stomium. The walls of stomium is thin compared with other cells. And just now I explained epidermis plays an important role in protection. Epidermis is the outermost layer. First one is the epidermis. This epidermis is the outermost layer. Outermost layers are always participates in a protection. So epidermis is the outermost layer. Epidermis is the single layer. మధ్యలో ఒకసారి కట్ అయింది.
ఒకవేళ అవసరంగా ఇదనుకోండి, ఇది లొకేషన్ నెక్స్ట్ పేజ్కి వెళ్ళిపోతాం. ఒకవేళ స్టక్ అయితే బ్యాక్ వెళ్ళాలా?
అదే వెళ్ళండి సార్. రైట్ సార్. సో దట్ so epidermis is the outermost layer. It is the single layered, intercellular spaces are absent and it participates in protection. A specialized region present in the epidermis, that is called as stomium. And the second part is the endothelium. Where endothelium is located? See, just below the epidermis. Just below the epidermis, a single layered elongated cells are present. See, elongated cell, it is very clearly visible in diagram. Just below the epidermis, a single layered elongated cells are present. These elongated cells is called as endothelium. Just below the epidermis, a single layered elongated cells are present. That single layered elongated cells are called as endothelium. See, listen, very important. These are the endothelium cells. These endothelium cells shows hygroscopic nature. Hygroscopic nature containing cells are present in endothelium. Hygroscopic nature, very important and expected question. Hygroscopic nature containing cells are present in the endothelium. Hygroscopic nature means they are capable to observe the moisture from the air. What is hygroscopic nature? Whatever cells are present in the endothelium, that cells are capable to observe the moisture from the air or surrounding. That's why hygroscopic nature containing cells are present in the endothelium. And this endothelium is also participates in protection along with the epidermis. And third one is the middle layer. Where it is located? Middle layers are located where? Just below the, listen, just below the endothelium. just below the endothelium, 2 to 3 layers, either 2 layers or 3 layers. Just below the just below the endothelium, 2 to 3 layers of middle layers are present. And these are also participates in protection. And these middle layers are considered as the short-lived cells also. Short-lived cells are present in middle layer. It is made up of either 2 or 3 layers. 2 to 3 layers of middle layers are present just below the endothelium. And the last one is the tapetum, the most important point. See, this is the tapetum. Innermost layer of anther wall. See, this is the tapetum. So this is the tapetum. This is the epidermis. Listen, epidermis, endothelium, middle layers, tapetum. Outermost layer is the epidermis. Innermost layer of anther wall. Innermost layer of anther wall is called as tapetum. Innermost layer of anther wall is called as tapetum. And this tapetum is also only one layer. That's why it is the single layered. Innermost layer of anther wall is called as tapetum. And it is also what? Single layered. And see, generally in one cell, one nucleus we know. This is one cell with one nucleus in majority of case. But tapetum cell consists of 2 to many. In case of tapetum cells consist of 2 to many nucleus. 2 to many nuclei is present in tapetum cells. See. Innermost layer of anther wall is called as tapetum. Tapetum is the single layered. And every tapetum cell consists of 2 to many nuclei. Very, very important point. That's why what is the pelody? What is the pelody of tapetum is the polypelody. Haploid, diploid, triploid, polypelloid and on. So tapetum consists of many genome. 2 to many nuclei is present. That's why tapetum pelody is the polypelody. So these 4 layers, see, epidermis, endothelium, middle layer, tapetum. Epidermis, endothelium, middle layer, tapetum. These 4 layers are collectively called as what? Anther wall. These 4 layers are collectively called as anther wall. See, listen. Come to the ones previous. See, this is the anther wall. Now we discussed anther wall. Below the inside of anther wall, which one is present? Microsporangia is present. And come to here. See, this is the anther wall. Inside the anther wall, which one is present? Inside the anther wall, whatever spherical body present, this spherical body is called as what? Microsporangia, which is also called as what? Pollen sac. And inside the anther wall, microsporangia or pollen sac is present. And listen carefully. Inside the microsporangia, finally microspores are developed. Microspores, which is also called as pollen grain. Again it will come, I will explain, you don't worry. So inside the microsporangia, finally which one is formed? Microspores are formed. And listen carefully. See, this is the tapetum. This tapetum provides the nourishment to developing microspores. What is the function of tapetum? What is the function of tapetum? This tapetum provides the nourishment to the developing microspore. That's why tapetum is considered as the nourishment tissue also. Why tapetum is called as nourishment tissue? Why tapetum is called as nourishment tissue? It nourishes the developing microspore. Whatever tapetum is present, this tapetum provide the nourishment to developing microspore. That's why tapetum is considered as the what? Nourishment tissue. What is the pylody of tapetum? Polypylody. 2 to many nuclei is present in every tapetum cell, and it is the innermost layer also. So this is the structure of anther wall. And see, listen carefully. See, inside the microsporangia, which one is formed? Inside the microsporangia, microspores are formed. After the formation of microspore, this microsporangia undergoes lysis, means dehiscence. The dehiscence of microsporangia takes place at stomium. Dehiscence means burst, dehiscence means rupture, dehiscence means lysis. Once microspores are formed, this microsporangia dehiscence takes place. Where the dehiscence takes place? The dehiscence of microsporangia takes place at the region of stomium. It comes here, then lysis, release the microspores to outside. Where microsporangia dehiscence takes place? At the region of stomium. Stomium located where? It is present in the epidermis. And for the dehiscence of microsporangia, endothecium is required to help. What is the function of endothecium? Protection is common, and at the same time this endothecium provide the helping. It provide the help to dehiscence of microsporangia. Here 2 points. Microsporangia dehiscence takes place as stomium, but for the dehiscence of microsporangia, this endothecium is required. Here hygroscopic nature cell. The cells absorb the moisture, that swell, finally get rupture. So this is the structure of anther wall. So end of anther wall we discussed with microsporangia. Inside the microsporangia, which one is formed? Inside the microsporangia, which one is formed? Microspores are formed. How we will discuss in the next topic. The topic is the microsporogenesis. First, after the anther wall, then we are taking microsporogenesis. We started androecium. Androecium means 2 types of stamen. Then we discussed the anther wall, structure of anther wall. After that, microsporogenesis. See, genesis means birth or formation. Genesis means what? Birth or formation. Of what? Microspores. Microspore. So, birth or formation of microspore. Birth or formation of microspore is called as what? Microsporogenesis. Birth or formation of microspore is called as what? Microsporogenesis. Sir, how microsporogenesis takes place, sir? How microsporogenesis takes place, sir? See, inside the anther wall, one spherical body present. It is called as what? It is called as what? Microsporangia. Imagine this is the microsporangia. Microsporangia is also called as pollen sac. See, listen. Inside the microsporangia, inside the microsporangia, one fertile and diploid tissue is present. This fertile and diploid tissue is called as sporogenous tissue. The fertile and diploid means 2x. The fertile and diploid tissue which is located inside the microsporangia, that fertile and diploid tissue is called as sporogenous tissue, SGT. SGT means sporogenous tissue. Where it is located? It is located inside the microsporangia. The fertile and diploid tissue which is located inside the microsporangia, that fertile tissue is called as sporogenous tissue. See, this sporogenous tissue develop one specialized cell. See, like this. The sporogenous tissue which develop the one specialized cell, that specialized cell is called as microspore mother cell. Very important. Microspore mother cell, simply it is called as MIMC, which is also called as pollen mother cell also. Well, close ఎట్లా చేస్తారు మీరు చేసేయండి వచ్చి మీరు కలర్. So the sporogenous tissue, simply it is called as SGT, which develop the one specialized cell. This is the specialized cell. The sporogenous tissue develop the one specialized cell. That cell is called as microspore mother cell, MIMC, which is also called as pollen mother cell. Simply it is called as PMC. Microspore mother cell, pollen mother cell, both are same. So mother cells are always present in diploid. Mother cell are always present in diploid. See, imagine this is the microspore mother cell. For your convenience I am taking. This microspore mother cell undergoes reduction cell division, that is meiosis, to form 4 microspore. This diploid microspore mother cell undergoes meiosis to form 4 microspores. See, 1, 2, 3, 4. These 4 microspores are collectively called as microspore tetrad. Microspore tetrad, which is also called as pollen tetrad. So what is first? Inside the microsporangia, one fertile tissue is present, one fertile and diploid tissue present, it is called as sporogenous tissue. This tissue develops the one specialized cell which is called as microspore mother cell or pollen mother cell. This pollen or microspore mother cell undergoes meiosis to form 4 microspores. These 4 microspores are collectively called as microspore tetrad or pollen tetrad. So after some time, these 4 microspores are separated from each other. These 4 microspores are separated with each other. After that, directly it is called as pollen grain. Actually, pollen grains and microspores both are in same. So pollen grains or microspores are the product of meiosis. Product of meiosis always applied. So see, formation of pollen grain or formation of microspore from microspore mother cell by meiosis is called as microsporogenesis. What is microsporogenesis? Formation of microspore is called as microsporogenesis. How microspores are formed? Here 4 microspores are formed. How these 4 microspores are formed? From microspore. So formation of 4 microspore from microspore mother cell by reduction cell division meiosis is called as microsporogenesis. Okay na? Thank you everyone. Continue, we'll see tomorrow. Bye.